Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. If you're new to this channel, I'm John and I paint with spray paint. So I hope you enjoy what I paint. And thanks for stopping by and watching. So for this spray painting video live, I'm going to be doing a cityscape. I've never done one on an easel before, and I've never done one on canvas before, so I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. So I'm going to do like a classic painting, classic cityscape for this one. I'm going to do a couple of planets in the sky, bit of a galaxy or something like that, and then a cityscape, and then just finish it off with some water and that. I'm using this old canvas here. It's a bit battered in places, but as this is just like a practice piece, because I've never done it before, I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. So that's why I'm using this canvas here. But first of all, I'm going to start with a sky and that, the planets, stuff like that up here first. So it's slightly different painting on the canvas and glossy cards, something like that, as the canvas will soak in a bit of a paint when you first spray it on. Not like glossy paper where it just stops on the top, because the glossy film on the paper stops it from soaking in, whereas the canvas hasn't got that. So you don't need to prep the canvas or anything before you paint it, because you don't lose that much paint from soaking in. You'd use more paint, say if you coated it all white or something before painting it, than you would lose from soaking in. So I'm going to start with the planets here. So I'm just going to spray around these, give you a rough outline where your planets are going to go. I'm going to use aqua here. So I'm going to have one planet here. And I'm using these cutouts for my planet stencils instead of lid stencils. And I'm going to have another planet up here somewhere. So I'll just spray around it with the aqua, give you an outline. So sit them out of the way, so we've got the outlines for the planets now. So what we'll do is we'll add some colours into the outlines. So I'm going to do some petrol first. So I'm going to spray a bit more onto this, because you'll lose some into the canvas. Gonna have some cherry blossom. And some aqua. I'll put a bit more cherry blossom in there. I'm going to get some black. I think I'll put a bit of white on it, just in places. And what I'm going to use to make the texture is I'm going to use this plastic sheet. This is from a bag that I cut up, so it's easy to use. I get a lot of questions about these, where I get it from and all that. I found these from an old workplace. They were going to chuck them all in the skip, so I took them, and then all I do is just cut them up so they're easier to use. All I know is they were a plastic bag. I don't know where I'd get any more from or anything when I run out. So all I'll do is crunch it up to get some texture in it, like that. We'll place it onto the sheet and just give it a rub. To make your texture. So with a canvas as well, it can dry out pretty fast as well, because it's soaking into the canvas. So you don't get much texture sometimes on it. So what you could do if you wanted is you could get some clear coat. Might just wet it back up a bit. See what that does. It wets the paint back up so you can pull some of the paint back off. But if you press it too hard, then it kind of smudges it and you get a mixture of the paint. So you just press it lightly. I'll just step away and have a look at that, so I quite like that one. So I'm going to put some shadow on the planet there, and then some highlight Might put a bit of cherry glossy first, and then a bit of aqua. I'm just going to highlight it with the white. So that's the first planet done, so leave that one to dry and we'll move on to this one here. And I think for this one I'm going to do a red, yellow and orange. So a bit of red, bit of orange, a bit of yellow, then some black and some white. And for this one I'm going to use a piece of magazine paper, just like that, so just crunch it up so you get some texture in it, some lines. And all we'll do is just place it over it to make the texture. Like that, so I like the texture on that one. So now we'll go to the highlights and shadows on this. So we'll do the shadow first at the top. And then I'm going to put a bit of yellow there first. And now some white for a highlight. So there the planet's done, the highlights and shadows on the planets and the colours. So what we've got to do now is we're going to have to leave these to dry a bit, because I'm be putting these stencils on, so they'll be flush against the paint. So instead of leaving these to dry, I'm going to get a heat gun and I'm just going to give them a quick blast of heat so they dry faster. So just a normal heat gun. You want to stand away from it a bit and just dry the paint. You don't want to get too close when you're using this heat gun, and you don't want to be in one spot all the time because it'll start to burn the paint. We'll move on to this one now. So it's always best to make sure these are dry before placing these lid stencils on. These paper stencils. Because if the paint's not dry, these will stick to it. And then when you pull them off, they'll pull the paper off that's on the stencil and it'll stick to your painting. Because the difference between using these and the lid stencil is, on a lid stencil it's just to lip the touches of paint. So that's why you get the rings around your planet, whereas these, all the card will be onto the painting. So this is why you've got to make sure these are dry before placing them on. So I'm just going to touch these. They're almost dry, they are. So I'm just going to go back over them once more. Like I said, I don't know how this painting's going to turn out, because it's the first time doing cities or buildings on a canvas, and also it's the first time doing it on an easel upright like this. So I've got no idea how it's going to turn out or what it's going to be like when I've done it. But like I said, there's only one way to find out, and that's give it a go. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'll have to think of another idea. I'll do it another way. So they're dry now, so I'm just going to let them cool down for 30 seconds or something. So I'm just going to go over to here now. And as you can see, I can touch these, rub them, and my hands don't touch, stick or anything. So they're dry now. Put your lid stencils on. So I'm going to use the same method I did in my last video. If you saw my last video, you saw me doing like loads of planets on a canvas where I didn't need to hold the stencils or anything. I'm going to be doing the same on here. So I'll just move these colours out of the way. Yeah, just double check these, make sure, yeah, they're alright, that's alright. Yeah, right, so we're good to go now, they're dry enough. There's no harm in waiting. If you think they're just slightly wet or whatever, just wait a bit longer. Like I said, in my videos, in most of my videos, there's no rush when you're painting. Just take your time, let each stage dry before moving on to the next. That way you'll get better results in that, and you won't get stuff sticking to your paintings and pulling the paint back off and stuff like that. So now first of all I'm going to do these stencils, put these lid stencils, these paper stencils back on. Like I said, I'll be putting the one there, so I'm just going to line it up to where I want it. So I think I'm going to have that there. So I'll just hold that there in place a sec. That's first lid stencil on. So I'll just hold it in place. So I don't need to hold it. Like if you saw the video a couple of videos back where I first tried doing a planet on an easel, but I had to hold it. But that was just like a trial to see what it was like. So now I'll put this one on. So I'm going to have that one, I think, there. So you don't really need to cover the back up when you're putting the weights on or anything like that, because we'll just use black or something there. So I think that'll do. So there the stencils on. So like I said, I don't need to hold them on or anything now. They'll just sit there on their own until I take them back off. So now I'm going to go on to a background. So like I said, I'm going to be doing a cityscape. So I'm going to be having a city here. And I might come onto this planet a bit, I'm not sure yet, but I'll do a few buildings here so you can see them. So what you want to do first is you want to put your colours down for your city. What colours you want your city to be. Just do like, I don't know. I'm going to go with a bit of purple first. So put a bit of purple on first. We're going to have a city somewhere here like this, I think. Not sure how it'll turn out being on the canvas, but like I said, first time, it's always good to try something new. Put a bit of light blue in. A bit of cherry blossoming as well in places. Could come out, could not, we'll just see. Right, so I think I'll do. So they're the colours that's going to be the city. I'm going to scrape the paint off later. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to have get some of these greens, I think. Let's add quite a lot of different colours to this thing. Why not? Yeah. Put a bit of dark green down first. So if you notice that I'm putting a bit more paint down than I would if I was using a glossy card or something. This is because it soaks the paint up, like I said. Thing that'll do. Let me just bring a bit more dark green down. So I'm going to get the black and cover it all in black. just spray a bit of light around these stencils so you don't get no leaking underneath them. What you can also do, like, cover it black, the colours we put down for the city. I'm going to cover that up with green. I'm going to pull some of the black back off, give you like a bit of a galaxy or something in the background. So for this, I'm going to use some of the wrapper from the canvas. Just rip a bit off. Just screw it off a bit. I'm just going to place it over where the green was. See if it comes off. So I'm just going to go around and dab it a bit as well. Bring some more of this green through on the black. So just take your time when you're painting. Just enjoy while you're painting. There's no point starting a painting and finishing in 10 minutes. If you're enjoying it, just take your time. Step away from the painting, have a look. If you like it, carry on. If you don't, just change it a bit, add a bit more to it or something. So now I've got a bit of green or something in the background. Just going to get this and just mist it around the edges. Bit of green coming off it. A bit of dark green. So I quite like how that's looking. Something up here, why not? So it's your painting, just add whatever. I think I'll do there. Purple. Ah, let's get a bit of cherry blossom, I think. Got a bit of colour to it. So quite like how that's looking. Could always just bring a bit of green down there. A bit in the background. So like how that's looking. Like the colours and adding it. So I'm going to put some stars in using the white spray paint. Just spray a bit on my fingers here and then we're just going to flick them on like that. So when you get your paint, your white paint on your fingers, just flick it away from the painting a couple of times so you get most of the paint off it so you don't get big white blobs all over your painting. So spray it on, flick it away a bit and then flick the rest onto your glossy paper or your canvas or whatever you're using. So I think I'll do for the stars. Quite like them stars, there's enough in there. So just wipe this white paint off my finger. So I'll take these lid stencils back off now. Well, the paper stencils. Not sure whether they've stuck or not. So that one's not stuck. That's turned out pretty nice, I like that one. Now we'll go to this one here. Pull that one off, so that one hasn't stuck as well. So like I said, if you give it time to dry, your planets will come out nice looking and the stencils won't stick. So I quite like how that's looking, that background now. So now we're going to move on to doing the city here. So like I said, I put the base colours down beforehand. This is the first time doing it on a canvas and also on an easel. So I'm not really sure how this is going to turn out or even work. So before I do that, I'll just show you these. So we're going to be using metal paint scrapers for these to do your planets. Not your planets, your buildings. So we've got a big one like this. You can get a range of different ones. So you've got one like that. You've got smaller one. They can be for smaller buildings. And then you've got these as well. These are thin. These are all metal paint scrapers. So like you can see, you get them in a lot of different sizes. You've also got a paint scraper that you can get like this. It's called a decorator's tool. This is a big paint scraper. These come in really handy for when you want to do stuff like that, split the painting up. I'll show you this later on in the painting when I split the city up and something else underneath here. So like I said, this paint's going to be dry here now, so there's no chance you're going to be able to get the paint out and scrape it to make your buildings. So for this, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get some clear coat. We're going to have to spray it on here to wet the paint back up. So I'm not sure how it's going to work, how it's going to wet up, because we're painting vertical here. So if you put too much on, it's going to start running off. So this is going to be like a tester to see how much I need. So the first time I scrape the building off, it might not come out right. But like I said, you don't know until you try. Excuse me. So I'll put the clear coat on to wet the top of the paint. So I've wetted all of it up, but you could do it in stages. So we'll just try that. So you want something as well to wipe the paint off this scraper when you're doing the buildings, because you get a build up of paint on them. So a cloth or a piece of magazine paper, something like that. I'll use a piece of magazine paper, I think. So it's not clean, the scraper isn't. It's clean easy. All you have to do is get a craft knife or something like that and just scrape the paint off. The paint will easily come off if you just scrape it. But I'm going to leave these with the paint still on. I should have really cleaned them, but it doesn't matter. So the first one I'm going to put here. So what we're going to do is put it onto the canvas like that. And then we're going to move across. And then we're going to slightly come down like that. So with the paint being wet, you can see the first building there. You can also as well, so just make sure you keep cleaning this scraper, because you'll have a build up of paint on it. Let's go with the first one there. I'm going to put another one, I think here. Some people will push a paint scraper up and then go across and then come down a bit to do a line kind of thing. So you can get a line, but I just go across and just pull it down slightly. And then you get like your building shape. So I'm quite happy with the way they turned out. Didn't expect them to turn out this good. And plus I'm using an easel and it's upright. I don't really want to push too hard into the canvas, especially using a metal paint scraper on the corners of the edges as well. Might press too hard, could push through the canvas and put an hole in it, because there's nothing behind this supporting it. So you just got to watch out for that as well. Just press it a bit softer. So just put some high ones in. You could do as well a small, like, so you can go like that. Just keep making sure your paint scraper is got no paint on it. Do something like that. So I'm just going to do blocks like that, just some skyscrapers. I'm not going to do anything fancy or anything. So I'm going to wet this back up with a clear coat over this planet. I'm going to put a couple on this planet, I think, just above it, see what happens. Might not come out as well. What you could have done there is, you could have blackened the planet out here more, so when you do your cities, they'll show up more in front of the planet. So I didn't press that one very hard. Got to watch as well because the easel's moving a bit. Because you're pushing onto it. So see, that's almost dry there now. So you get the clear coat. We'll just wet it back up. And what we'll do is we'll get that like this, and we'll go across and then down. As you can see there, it's wet the paint back up, so it's easy to scrape. But if you put too much clear coat or anything on here, or if you've got too much of a build up of paint, when you're moving your scraper across doing your buildings, you'll have a thick line of paint here on the edge of a scraper that builds up, and then you'll have a big blob of paint all the way down here. So when you move it off, you'll pool there. So when you're doing these buildings, the less paint you put on, the better it is. But don't put, you've got to put a bit on so it shows back through. You know what I mean? So just have a look at that. But quite like that. I might just add one here, a small one. So this is going to be dry now. So that's almost a bit sticky, but it needs to be wet up again. So get some clear coat again. Just spray it where you want it. And then we'll just give a scraper. See, it's a lot drier now. And if I push too hard, I can feel the canvas going back on the easel, so it's going to tip over. So you see it's not come out very good because the paint's dry. So I think we're going to have to put quite a bit of clear coat on here to get this paint going again. So I think I'll do for them buildings there. I don't really want to put too many buildings in it, because like I said, this is more like a practice as well, a trial kind of thing, because trying these buildings on these canvases and also upright. So now we've got like the first layer of buildings in. You could either put a bit of black here so you could fade them out, and then we'll do another layer, or put a colour in. You could put whatever you want in. It's kind of your painting, so it's up to you what you do to it. So excuse me, what I think I might do here is I might just put a bit of colour here. Not sure what colour. Let me have a look. I'm going to go for a bit of, let's go for a bit of petrol or something. If it doesn't look right or anything, just go over it with black spray paint or another colour. That's a good thing with spray paint. If you make a mistake or you don't really like anything, all you can do is just get a black or whatever colour and just spray back over it and then start again. So we'll get this petrol. I'm just going to mist a bit here, I think. Just gives you a bit of colour behind it. Or a lighter colour. You can put whatever. Let's try petrol first. So what we're going to do is mist it. It'll be the same as doing the highlights on the planet. So we're just pressing the cap down lightly. And we're just misting it. Just press the cap as we go back and forth. So we've got that. We could let's lighten this up a bit, I think. Let's lighten it up. I think I might put a bit of cherry blossom in here as well. So do that, just mix it up a bit. It's up to you what you put. And then bit of black. You're still going to see these buildings behind because I haven't gone high enough, but I'll leave them up tall. So now we've got these first set of buildings in here, the higher ones. What I'm going to do now is going to move on and put some smaller ones in. So for this, you can carry on and use this scraper and come down here because there's nothing here to mark. So you could always use this one, or you could use another one, smaller one to do them. It's entirely up to you. That's why you can have different scrapers to do different things, different sizes. But I'm going to use this big one, carry on using this big one. And I think for this I'm going to put 3 layers of buildings on here, just to show you, just see how it works as well. So we'll go back to a clear coat because this is definitely dry now. Really, I should have put a mist here because the cut off of the city is here at the bottom where the black is, because you've got no paint here. You could add some here if you wanted. We'll just see as the painting progresses. So, got the clear coat on, so we'll get this scraper now and we're going to do some more. So we're just going to go up, across, and then slightly down. And don't forget to wipe your scraper. Oh, I've got everything blowing away here. Right. Put a cam there. Right, so I'm just going to go through and do all these. So that's a bit dry as paint is here. So it's not pulling out as much. I'll put some more on. Just got to watch how you put too much on. The paint running down. So it seems to be alright at the moment. Got some clear coat on there. That's another building. So I'll put a big one there. So it's up to you how you do your cityscape. It's just like a basic one. Nothing fancy in it, just some tall buildings, some skyscrapers. And as you can see there, the colours that are put underneath, the base colours are coming through. So here where I did the aqua on the planet, and there it's showing up through aqua because that was the first colour I put down, because you're scraping most of the paint off to produce your buildings. So what you could do, I could have brought these buildings up more, but I want to show you each stage, so that's why I'm spacing them out a bit. That one looks a bit curved there, but that's alright. Put some more in here. Pull that one across, I'll have that one a bit higher. So your paint's a bit dry there. We'll just wet it back up. So clear coat is used to wet this paint back up as well. And what I tend to say is try using the clear coat that's made by the same brand as paint, of the paint, because the clear coat may react with the paint you're using if it's a different brand. So you don't really want that when you're doing your painting and it's all looking nice, and then you get to do something where you're doing clear coat and you spray it and it reacts with the painting and then wrecks it, like does like a white film on it, or starts reacting and bubbling or something like that. So I think, looking at that, I think that looks alright. Quite like them. These look a bit, I don't know, they just don't look right. They look, so I've cut too much across, so I'll go across and then see if you do too much of an angle on them, too far back, they don't look right. So the front should have been wider and then cut it more. Like these ones up here. See, so you go across and then don't cut as such at an angle, or don't go further back. They just look, but I still like how we've turned out. So now we've got them in like that. See, I could go across here, so we'll just make this one bigger. So a nice big square one, and we'll just cut it out there. So that's that one done. What I might do here is, don't know how it turns out. Like I said, trial. So I'm going to get some pool, I think, here. I'm going to mist it here. Just do a bit of a light mist or something. Just change colour up a bit. So you could have done this mist in the first ones here, and then it like stagger the buildings down. So I like that mist there, so I'm just going to do one last row of buildings. So get some clear coat, wet it back up. It's got some clear coat on there now. And then get the paint scraper. So I'm not going to use this one now, I'm going to change it. I'm going to go on to smaller one, this one here. It's a thinner paint scraper as well, but it'll do the same thing. Still make your buildings. So I'm going to start here. I'll do them even smaller now, these buildings. Like I said, I'm not going to press hard because I don't want to pierce a canvas. It's one thing you've got to watch. As you can see, it's still not wet enough, it's drying out. I'll put some more clear coat on. Make sure you keep your scraper clean as well, because you don't want to build up of paint on your scraper. Just go over these again. So I'm quite happy with how these turned out, considering it's the first time doing them on a canvas and on an easel, which I'm quite surprised. I thought they would turn out a lot worse than this, or just wouldn't turn, or wouldn't work. Just go across. Add some more in. I just pushed a bit too hard on that one. I thought the scraper had gone through, but we're alright. It hasn't gone through. Like I said, just take your time when you're doing stuff like this. There's no rush. unless you're live painting or something like that, there's no need at all to rush. That's why, if you notice, my videos are pretty long, longer than most others that make spray paint art videos, the majority of them, but I just take my time. I don't bother rushing, there's no need to. So we've got the buildings there, so I'm quite liking it. I'm really happy with the way that's turned out. I'm quite surprised that he turned out that well, to be honest, and especially for a first time as well. Quite like that. So you could, there's two ways you go here now, but you see some spray paint artists might just put an extra row here and just go up and down, small buildings, real small buildings. So it's like a layered effect of different heights of buildings and that. So you could do that if you wanted, and then just go up and down like that. So I think while I'm doing it, and I'm just trying it out and seeing what happens, I'll do that. So I might, where's this one? So let's see what happens. So I'm going to go, and I'm going to put another row in, I think. Small row. So I'm going to go with a lighter blue, I think. Just spray a bit here. Not much. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out. I might have put too many layers in here, but never mind. So I'll just spray some clear coat there across the bottom. Let's have a look now. I'll change the scrapers. I'm going to go for a smaller one here. Just do some nice small buildings, some quick ones. So what some people do is, there's no clear coat on the edge here. So what some people do is, they'll just do a row of like small buildings here. They might not show up very well because plus if you're doing it like that, you get a build up of this paint here. As you can see, there's a lot on this scraper here. So you just got to watch that. So you see what I mean about doing the small buildings there in front. And then they just go up. So it gives you like and just keep an eye on that. Then it just gives you like small buildings there in the front. And I'll just carry on. Just do random heights. And then just watch that build up of paint. Because as you can see there, I'm not sure whether you can see on there's a build up of paint there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring that out. And then I can take this to the edge now. And then flick it at the end so it catches all the paint. Bring that round the end. So that's fourth row buildings in, like some smaller ones. So you've got like steps, different size buildings. So they're like your basic city when you're learning. Do something like that, you just get used to scraping the paint away for your buildings, for your cityscapes, like that. So I quite like that, how that's looking. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to mist it out. So I'll just use a bit of white for this, I think. So we'll get the white. I'm going to just break it up a minute. So we've got that there now, so the city. So I'm just going to do a classic thing to finish it off. I'm just going to put some water here. So I think of course with water, do any colour you want really. Bit of blue colour. That's what I'm going to do, yeah. Add a bit of blue, greens, whatever, mix it up. We'll get a bit of blue there, a bit of dark blue there. Well, I'll get a bit of green in here, bit of green there. I'm going to put quite a bit of paint in here. It's running a bit too much there, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Where's that? Stick a bit of orange in, right? So I'll do like that. And then a bit of light green, why not? Bit of aqua. Bit of pool. Bit of candy. And a bit of white. So just mucking around here, just add whatever colours. So I'll move these paint cans out of the way so I can do the water. So we're going to get a clear coat again. You can see it's all running there. There's a lot of paint on there. But hopefully when I move my fingers across through the water, it'll move with it. So I'll put some clear coat on. Wet it back up. Got the clear coat on, and what we'll do is use a finger, we'll just rub it back and forth. So there's a bit too much on here, but we can work with that. Let's have a look. So it's still a bit wet, this paint is. Put a bit too much clear coat on it, but it doesn't matter. Quite like that, so. But I'm going to leave that like that, like them colours. Something different anyway. So now, what we're going to do is, we're going to get this large paint scraper here. We're going to put it between the water and the cityscape. We're just going to mist it out. Because this is wet here still, this is going to stick to the wet paint. Because when you put clear coat on something, it takes a bit longer to dry than just normal paint. So I'm just going to put it on while the paint's wet, and I'll show you if it leaves a mark, you can see what I'm on about. I'll put it like that. It's going to show some of this colour back through. I'll pull that off like that. Because it's not perfectly straight, that isn't, but it's alright, I like it. So now we've got that, the city and that, and the water at the bottom. I'm just going to finish it off. I think might just add a couple of rocks or something here, I think. So you can see it's stripped off a bit off the canvas onto here. Well, that's alright. I think it's turned out well. So we'll just put the last bottom piece in here at the bottom. So what I might do is just going to put a few rocks. So let's just change it. Let's just put any old colours in first. So I'm just going to go a bit of cherry blossom here. There. Bit of cherry blossom there. Where's the aqua's here. Put a bit of aqua in there. I'll get some black. Spray a bit of black there. What I'll do is just get a piece of a plastic bag that I've cut up. We'll place it on. Just pull it off to make some texture. Do the same this side, clean piece. thing I'll do, multicoloured, but it's alright. So it's your painting, you put whatever colours you want in it. So we'll clear coat that up, and I'm going to get a palette knife now, and we're just going to put some highlights on it. So just get a palette knife, and I'll just go around the edge. Just bring it up there. Some highlights. Spend a bit longer when you're doing these. I'm kind of rushing these. Try and get this done. So we'll go to this side. I'll just bring it down. Just follow the line of the colours. Alright, just bring it there. And just always wipe your palette knife as well, same as when you're doing the buildings. Build up a paint, just wipe a bit of it off so you're not spreading all the paint everywhere. So I think what I'll do, quite like how that's turned out. So last thing I'll do is sign the painting. So I'm just going to sign it here. It's not come out very well, needs to be a bit wetter. That's alright, it's alright for a trial. I can go back over that with a pen later or something once it's dry. So now we've signed it all, and I'm just going to give this painting a quick clear coat. All clear coat, because some of it's got clear coat on, some of it hasn't. So I'm just going to give the painting one quick blast of clear coat all the way across. So all we're going to do is back and forth all the way up the painting. So like I said, this was more of a test painting, but I wanted to do it live as well. So you can also see how buildings were done, and also you can do them on canvas as well. Just a bit slightly different than gloss card, but it still works. Bit of practice, you'll get better at them. I think I might do a few more. I'm going to try a bridge as well at some point. So it's always good to try new stuff, keep your brain stimulated, stuff like that. Try new things. So that's the painting finished. I'm quite happy with the way that's turned out. I quite like that. I like how them buildings have turned out. Surprised they've turned out that well. I thought they'd turn out a lot worse. I didn't think I'd get much of a colour back through, but they've worked pretty well. Could have used some different colours, but just thought that'll do. Couldn't really decide on what colour, so I just slapped anything down. So I hope you like the way the painting's finished. Let me know. I'm just going to turn it a bit so you can see it a bit more full on. You can there, like that. But just looking through my camera now, where you can tell like this building and that building hasn't shown up as well as some of the others. I didn't press that hard on it because I didn't want to pierce the canvas. But I still like the way they've turned out. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thanks for stopping by and watching. Thank you for all the feedback and the comments you've left. It's very much appreciated. I hope the video helped you out with your buildings and that. And it shows you that you can do buildings on the canvas. Just take your time when you're painting. So once again, thank you for stopping by and watching. I hope to see you all in the next spray paint art video. Have a great day, take care, and bye for now.